Welcome to the We Don't Have Cookies 2-year anniversary episode with your host, Jason Marshall.
Hey everybody, thanks for downloading the show. We're off to a whole new start with this episode. New music, new intro, new cover art, all that good stuff. Let me know what you think of the intro music. My oldest daughter said that I shouldn't use it because it gets used a lot on YouTube, but I've never heard it. So send me an email, jason@wedon'thavecookies.com, and let me know what you think. Should I keep it? Should I change it up? Oh man, what a year it's been. The second year got off to a rough start with the curse of the show in full effect, guest cancellations, and my family getting into a car accident. For new listeners, the curse of the show was something that came up a lot last season. It seemed like any time I would announce an upcoming guest or something that was going to happen, it would always fall through. And on one episode, I made a joke about how I was going to have somebody come in and perform an exorcism on the show. You would be surprised how sacred priests view exorcisms. So I wasn't able to get somebody to come in and do that. But I was able to get Reverend Dwight McCormick to come in and bless the show to help get rid of the curse. I want to thank him for coming in. I appreciate him taking the time to do that and putting up with my foolishness. After that, I finally left the radio show. I was getting emails from you guys saying that I needed to quit airing the radio show on the feed because it just wasn't the same vibe as the podcast and they just didn't go together well. I'd been wanting to quit the show for a while, and I just kept putting it off. Once September rolled around and I'd made it to my 1-year mark, I just never went back, which led to the podcast going twice a week on its own. All kinds of fun changes happened after that, like this month's Dumbass of the Year episodes, where I took all the weekly Dumbass of the Year nominees for the month and crowned a winner. With me right now is one of the best additions to the show, hands down, that we have made in the last year, maybe since the beginning of the show. And that is my friend Benny Mac. How's it going, man?
Brother, it's going good. It's great to hear your voice. Happy anniversary, man.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary to the whole family.
This is my co-host for this month's Dumbass of the Year editions. And I can't wait till we get to this month's Dumbass of the Year for the entire year. I have one for July. I think that guy might go all the way.
Boom. Oh, man, I'm excited. Have you got champagne over that side? I got a bottle here. I've just popped the bottle.
Yeah, I got a whole glass right here.
Cheers, brother. Cheers, brother. When are we going to light up that Cubana cigar?
Ooh, that sounds good. You want to light it up now?
Oh, yeah. I think I might. Might just reach for it over here. I think it's somewhere here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, smooth.
But I've had so much fun doing this month's Dumbass of the Year shows with you, man. And hopefully we're going to be doing a few more things. We'll see what happens. We were talking about it earlier in the Periscope broadcast. The Omegle thing that you were doing was so good. I'm trying my hardest to figure out how I can do something like that on the podcast because that was brilliant.
Oh man, that's the power of the internet, the interactivity. It's a beautiful thing. You never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to run into. The fact that you can communicate with strangers like that, you never know who you're going to find or what situation you're going to encounter. Very spontaneous.
And podcast listeners, you have to download the Periscope app if you don't have it already. Follow Benny Mac on there. It's at Benny Mac. You can find him on Twitter too. If you don't have Periscope, just find him on Twitter at Benny Mac. I believe you can watch Periscope videos on Twitter without having the Periscope app. I'm not sure.
Yes, you can.
It's at least worth your time to follow him. Even if you're not following me, fuck it. Follow Benny Mac.
Just follow him too. Follow everyone. Everyone gets a follow.
Yeah. Everybody's Twitter handle in the show notes. It'll be a couple thousand pages long. I'm not just talking about people on the show. I'm finding the Twitter handle directory. It's going to be the phone book for Twitter. I'll have it in the show notes.
I like that. It's kind of like Facebook, but phone book. It's kind of like those things that people would set you know how you used to be able to really easily set a phone booth on fire? You just like a phone book. It was cool. You know, it was good in the winter if you had no heat. But then Facebook came along. They used the cell phone. They got rid of the phone book. I say bring it back. Tweet book. You're onto something.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Hey, man, it's the second anniversary. I say everybody wins, man. That's a winning idea. Shit, I've got $500 with your name on it, man. And that's going to be in installments. You know what I'm saying?
The one dude who thought he won $50,000 of Cheetos cash.
man, that's a campaign. You know, you could, in theory, you could go out and buy $25,000 worth of Cheetos and still come up trumps if you find that, you know, that Trump-looking as corn chip Cheeto.
That dude was thanking his family. There was one, I don't know if it was the same guy, but he picked up a stuffed animal and was hugging it while he was talking to you.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I've heard there's this new thing. It's all the crazy. It's called the body pillow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a stuffed animal, but it's not actually an animal. It's a human body.
Have you seen these things? They're like onesies for babies, but they're for grown adults.
Yeah, well, are they called onesies?
I forget what they're called now.
But yeah, they have things like, you know, maybe a dragon, or you might be a panda, you know, something like that, a unicorn.
The last stand-up show that we had, the host came in dressed as a zebra. I about shit myself.
A zebra? Oh. Like, was this like, did it have the person at the back doing the four-leg thing, or was it just the face, or how did they sell the zebra?
No, they just came in dressed head to toe in zebra outfit. Unfortunately, they didn't have the back of it, but...
Okay, so was it like a onesie, or did it have the hoofs?
Yeah, it was very much a onesie. That's what made me think of it. It was so bizarre.
Right. Yeah. I never got a hold of a onesie myself. I bought this this wet weather onesie. Sometimes I have to work out in the elements, so I bought this sort of, it's kind of like an all-weather onesie. It's got the hood. I drove around in a off-road vehicle in the torrential rain in it, trying to test the practicality of this item, and it's very practical.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun job, man.
It was good, man. I had a little bit of resistance, you know. I think I should have got a size up. I'm a big guy. I'm thick. Have you heard that? But yeah, he's thick. It used to mean you're stupid, but I think it means that you're stupid big. Like, some people use that term as a compliment. Oh, she got a thick ass. But some people use it as a slur, like, oh, she got a thick ass.
I like thick asses myself.
You gotta have a little bit of a thick ass. Oh,
yeah.
Shoot.
Well, I want to thank you for being a part of the show, man. It's great. I'm looking forward to having you on for however long you want to be a part of the show. Anything you want to say to the people before we go on to something else?
Congratulations to everybody that tunes in, all the fans, to 2 years. May the next 2 years be just as much fun. All the best. Keep tuned in. We don't have cookies.com.
Benny has been live streaming the shows on Periscope lately. If you haven't yet, you should really check those out. I'm planning on doing more live streaming things on Periscope soon, so if you're on Periscope or Twitter, make sure you follow us at Benny Mac and at Jason Marshall 2. That's the number 2. I'll have links to those in the show notes. That's not the only place I plan on doing live streams from. I will also be live streaming on Twitch. You can check me out there at WDHC Podcast. That's all one word. I also started an Xbox Live Club for the podcast. If you have an Xbox, you can join it by looking for We Don't Have Cookies, all one word, in the club section of Xbox Live. There's no apostrophe in the word don't because they wouldn't let me. So remember that when you search for it. I'd really like to have a night where we can all get together and play games and have fun. I was thinking Wednesdays at 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern. If you have a better day or a time, send me an email, jason@wedon'thavecookies.com. I just picked Wednesday so I could call it We Don't Have Cookies Wednesday. And I just started all this stuff up a couple of days ago. So if you have any tips or suggestions, email those to me too. I'm sure I'll need all the help I can get. Speaking of video games, if you're into gaming, check out my sponsor, Boss Boxes. They're a monthly gaming subscription box. From console gaming boxes to PC boxes, they have it all to boost your gaming experience. New merch from the biggest gaming brands delivered right to your door every month. Check them out at bossboxes.store and use the discount code WDHC at checkout to get 10% off. Back to the podcast going twice a week. The other thing that happened was the debut of Martial Law. This is the podcast version of the People's Court, where if somebody from the show has an issue with somebody else, they can bring them on here and I'll judge who is right, who is wrong, and sentence them to a punishment. The first person to be on Martial Law was Mama Kate, who was somehow the first person to do almost everything on this show. I try to ask each guest a question from my previous guest, and her question upset a few people because she wanted them to name 25 to 50 things that made them happy or inspired them. So the first episode of Martial Law was me just issuing a punishment. There was no trial, and the punishment was an idea by one of the guests she upset, Dwayne Melman. And just to be safe, I want to make sure everybody knows that nobody was actually mad. They were just slightly annoyed that they had to make this really long list of things. Anyway, the punishment was for her to read off 100 Donald Trump quotes since she hates him so much. It didn't turn out really to be as much of a punishment as I thought, though, because we had a hell of a good time looking up quotes for her to read. But then Mama Kate decided that she wanted to bring Choo Choo Stew onto Martial Law for not following her back on Twitter as quickly as she would have liked. Here is the unreleased pre-show to that episode. In the beginning, I made a reference to something that had happened on Stu's podcast, Cave Crew Radio, which I was a guest on right before this episode aired. If you want to hear that, check out the episode Cave Crew Radio in the archives.
Evening.
Good
Mama
evening,
Kate.
lovey.
How are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. So, who's the babysitter tonight?
My grandma. Well, their grandma.
Your grandma.
And I showed her the tweet where you said that tonight you're going to be thinking of naked mole rats and my mother-in-law. we were out to eat for my birthday. She cracked up.
And I did dream, I can tell you. They were very, well, I woke up in cold sweats.
A couple of weeks ago, we were trying to figure out, we were talking about how we had to get rid of some clothes so we could have enough room in the closet for me and my wife. And my wife had a shirt, and my kid told her she didn't like that shirt. She thought it was too low cut, and it looked like something that her grandma would wear. And she said something about, I forget what my wife said. And I said, well, the difference is it doesn't fit you right, but it would fit your mom because she's got big old taters. And you got kind of small spuds. I didn't tell my mother-in-law about that.
When we were growing up, my older sister and I were well endowed, but my younger sister was always little. And I told her one day, I'm like, you don't wear an over-the-shoulder boulder holder. You wear an over-the-shoulder pebble holder. And then we've called her Pebbles ever since. She really likes that. I don't know why she moved to Florida.
It's awful for young girls, really, this day and age.
It really is, because no matter if you're too big, then people will mock you for having saggy boobs. And if you don't have any, then they call you Pebbles and things like that. So you just can't win.
And being a father of two teenage girls, it's, yeah, you can, especially when, I don't know, you see blokes looking at the girls and stuff like that in the supermarket, you know?
Yeah.
And when I say teenage, my youngest is 12, and I was in the supermarket a couple of weeks ago, and I was about, a few yards away from my daughter, And then I turned around and I saw this bloke looking at my daughter, and the bloke was older than me, and I was getting in a rage, you know. And I thought, shall I go up to him and say so? Go up to him and say something. But then I was thinking, does she look 12? No, she doesn't. she looked 16, but even so, he's still 50 odd or something, you know.
Yeah. That's just.
But it's yeah, but you get it. It's a creepy old world out there.
Well, one time, my husband and I went to the grocery, and we saw a friend who we hadn't seen for years. And she was with her daughter, who she was high school age, you know. And my husband's like, "Wow, you know, you've really grown." He's like, "You've got boobs and everything." I'm like, "What is wrong with you? That is not something you'd say to somebody. Like, that's just creepy."
I know it's creepy, but saying that, I'm sure most men think something like that.
Yeah, I know. He just doesn't. Yeah, he didn't think it through.
No.
It is weird to see people look at your kids, because my oldest daughter's 19, and man, I have a hard time with that.
Oh, my husband. I mean, yeah, our oldest just graduated high school, and I think my husband would probably kill her boyfriend if he could figure out a way to get away with it.
Exactly.
They spent the night together in Columbus last weekend, and I can't believe he didn't just completely lose his shit like that.
Go along with them wherever they went.
Well, you know, we had a comedy. Well, not we, because he didn't. But I had a comedy show, so he went with me to the show. But yeah, I said that's what I said. I'm like, we should go to Columbus and go get a hotel room right next to there.
Just follow him around. I like that idea.
Well, I wanted to buy her a box of condoms and just give them to her, because I'm like, even if they use them, as soon as she pulls that box out, she's gonna think of me.
Do you know what I've always planned to do, and I've never done it yet because I haven't really needed to, but go to the family planning. They would give you a whole box of them, like heaps and heaps of them, and just leave them around the house. So just leave them in the kitchen. You know, like a little bowl of candy or sweets or whatever, and then next to it a bowl of condoms. Yeah. And then they would go, I'll take a couple of those.
Yeah, just
and
for the
becomes, yeah.
Until your daughter's boyfriend takes one, and then you have to shoot him. Well, no, because in England you guys just don't have firearms like we do here in America. It's just
no, we have to be a bit more imaginative the way we deal with boyfriends.
Well, you know, here in America, we just shoot them. You know, that just seems to be the best method, right? That's the way we deal with our problems.
Yeah.
Hey, Stu, did you ever try the trick where you had one of the Magnum condoms? Do you know what those are?
I don't. To be honest, I'm not a connoisseur of them, to be honest.
They're extra large condoms. And I would keep one of those in my pocket when I would go to the bar. And when I would go to pay for my drink, I would always accidentally knock it out of my pocket just so the girls would see it.
Did that ever work? Was there ever a girl like,
ooh?
But if it did work, they were soon disappointed when they got home.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're like, you are a fucking liar.
That's why you do it at the bar. Hopefully by the time you get home.
Yeah.
But, you know, they have all these push-up bras and hair extensions. I'm just trying to keep up with your lies.
Your lies. Yeah, I have 6 kids. Clearly, I'm not a connoisseur of condoms. We don't know. How do you use them? What do they look like?
Like having a bath with your socks on, apparently.
My wife got mad one day because we were out, and I told her what I was going to do is just run to the kitchen, get a rubber band and some saran wrap, and I'll be right back. That wasn't good enough for her.
Really? What a snob you married.
All that time making a reservoir tip out of saran wrap.
Yeah. She didn't even appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best way. It's a lot less expensive as well, isn't it? You know?
Mm-hmm.
You could just stick a bit of vegetable oil as lube, and you're away, aren't you, really? We call it cling film over here.
I'm going to try that. Like, honey, I got some vegetable oil. Let's go.
You could use extra virgin olive oil, and it'd be like the first time all over again.
Stu went on to destroy Mama Kate in that episode, and she was sentenced to retweet Choo Choo Stu for the next 72 hours. Here's a clip from Choo Choo Stu.
Hi Jason, this is Choo Choo Stu. I just want to thank you and congratulate you for getting to this milestone of 2 years of We Don't Have Cookies. What a fantastic show. I've loved listening to every episode. I've loved being part of the show as a guest and doing the Totally From the UK segment. So yeah, it's been an honour, Jason. Thank you very much. I'd also like to thank Mama Kate because she has been my favourite guest on your show with her infectious laugh. I'm probably her biggest fan worldwide. Definitely the UK anyway. She always puts a smile on my face. So once again, Jason, and We Don't Have Cookies, big congratulations and a happy anniversary.
Stu's segment also got some love from the twice a week schedule. His segment, Totally From UK Today, aka Totally Fucked, ended up being its own episode a couple of times. With so many great listeners over in the UK, I want this to be something that we do every 2 to 3 months from now on. Hopefully that will happen in the 3rd year. I also mentioned Cave Crew Radio a few minutes ago. Stu is one of the hosts of that show, along with DK and Sir Big B. I was a guest on their show twice in June. I had so much fun. I really can't wait to do it again. Those guys have been so good at helping me promote the show and doing all kinds of things. I want to thank all 3 of them for everything that they've done. Here's a clip from the crew.
Hello, my name is Choo Choo Stu.
And my name is DK.
Hey guys, I'm Jason Marshall.
Who the fuck is that? Anyway, this is Sir Big B.
Well, I'm going to tell you who that is, Big B. That is our good friend Jason Marshall from We Don't Have Cookies. And Jason is celebrating a big anniversary. So those of us at the cave just wanted to stop by and say happy anniversary. Congratulations on all your success, and may many more years come to follow. We enjoy everything that you do, and we'd love you to stop by and join us in the cave again real soon. Stu, what the fuck? I'm recording something. Where was I? Anyway, folks, this is DK, one of the hosts of Cave Crew Radio. It can be heard live every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Also on demand, wherever good podcasts are found. Search us out, cavecrewradio.com. Remember, we were weird before weird was cool. We now bring you back to the indigenous throat singers of Midwestern Canada.
Last year, there were some great segments added to the show. One of them was Epic Rap Battles of History. These guys are the funniest damn thing on YouTube. I'll have a link to them in the show notes. You can check out their YouTube channel. Here is their rap battle between George R.R. Martin and J.R.R. Tolkien.
George R.R. Martin versus J.R.R. Tolkien. You got brace yourself. Gather up your trolls and your soldier elves, and your ents and your orcs and your wargs and your stings, your dwarves and hamstrings. Cause there's a new literary lord in the ring. My readers fall in love with every character I've written, then I kill them. And they're like, what did he do? All your bad guys die, and your good guys survive. We can tell what's gonna happen a page in age 5. So you're all seeing how to find some sex in your movies. Yeah. Ditch the Goonie and cast a couple boobies. There's edgier plots and not David the Gnome. Your Hobbit hole heroes can't handle my throne. Kings, queens, dragons, dwarves, horses, fortresses, magic, and swords. You have bit my whole shit, you uninspired hack. You want a war, George? Welcome to Shire Rock. In book sales, you got nothing to say. I'm number 1 and 2. You're under 50 Shades of Grey. I got the pros of a pro. Your shit's subpar. You're a pirate. You even stole my RR. Oh, we all know the world is full of chance and anarchy. So yes, it's true to life for characters that die randomly. But newsflash, the genre's called fantasy. It's meant to be unrealistic, you myopic manatee. I conscientiously object to what you're doing on these beasts. I'll cut you like my teeth on Beauty and the Beast. You went too deep, Professor Tweed Pants. We don't need the backstory on every fucking tree branch. I cut my teeth in the trenches of the Somme. You lopped your Santa Claus ass through Vietnam. And it's hard for me to take criticism on clothes from a dude who sends a raven to say hi to his toes. Man, your fat jokes are worse than your pipe smoke. My show's the hottest thing on HBO. I'm rocking rock and roll. You're a nerdy little nebbish and I may be dirty, but you got a hairy foot fetish, dog. Even the names of your characters suck. Got buffers and buffers and brandy bucks. I got a second breakfast for all them goofy fucks. Lift up my gut and teabagging's my nuts.
C.S. Lewis and I were just discussing how you and Jon Snow both know nothing. Because the backstory on my box office is brilliant. Got my children making millions off my Silmarillions. And I'm more rock and roll than you ever been. Don't believe me? Ask Led Zeppelin. You can't reach this fellow. Shit, I'm too towering. Oh, every time I battle, it's Return of the King.
Who won? Who's there? You just saw. I'm rock. Those of history.
This year I have somebody new to add to the music lineup. This man was in the band called Hard and Firm with Chris Hardwick. Yes, the At Midnight Talking Dead Chris Hardwick. It's none other than Mike Furman. Here is his song Wootstock, which features Chris Hardwick, which is a parody of Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young's cover of the Joni Mitchell song Woodstock.
Well, I came upon some dudes in cloaks. They were setting off on their own. And I asked one, tell me what's that you roll? And this he showed me. Said it's just like dice, but it's got more sides. And it tells me who lives and who dies. Now I got to get back into this land and set my troll free. We are archers, we are ogres, we are skilled in killing goblins, and we've got to get our elves out of the darkness. And I went by a movie theater, there were girls camped out in line. I asked why, they said we're in line for the Avengers. I said, wait, that's not up till next year. They said, yeah, we know, but we're still here. Plus, we hear next week they'll leak a sneak preview trailer. We are Sauron, we are Gozer, we are building Dumbledore's army, and we are the who in who watches the Watchmen. Mouth solo. We are Warcraft, we are Portal, we are still playing Lego Star Wars, and we've got two turtle shells revolving around us. By the time we got to Woodstock, we had 500,000 blogs on everything from Tron to Japanimation. And there may not be real hoverboards yet or freeways up in the sky, but at least there's Xbox Live, Wii, and PlayStation. We are Starbucks, we are Vulcan, we are part of the Rebel Alliance, and we're the Doctor himself up in the
This year I had to say goodbye to a couple segment contributors. One was Christina Hughes, a former Miss Connecticut USA pageant winner turned comedian, She gave birth to her son and is pretty busy these days. Here's an unaired segment of hers.
I don't get hunters who call themselves animal lovers. Here's what I mean. I met a big-time trophy hunter at a party last week. He excitedly told me all about his brave hunting trips. There was a bear he spotted in Alaska that he shot, then had it stuffed and mounted. There was a lion he spotted in Africa that he shot, then had it stuffed and mounted. And there was a water buffalo he spotted in Argentina that he shot. Then he had it stuffed and mounted. But then all of a sudden he turned sad and actually started to cry. He told me how his faithful hunting companion of 18 years, a yellow Labrador retriever named Mac, just passed away. He was devastated. So I asked if he had his best friend of 18 years stuffed and mounted. He said he buried his dog in his backyard. So let me get this straight. Animals that you barely knew, that you traveled thousands of miles to shoot and kill, you would have stuffed and mounted to forever display on your wall. But your beloved pet that you had for years, you banish away and bury underground? He said, yes. It's the same reason why you never kiss the hooker. You just bang them. Before I could contemplate his answer, his trophy wife came over and whisked him away. Or was that his trophy prostitute? I never did see them kiss the whole night.
The other person who left the show was Dave Prague, who moved out of state to be with his wife. Dave is a good guy and was a lot of fun to talk to. He has a very unique sense of humor that I personally found hilarious, and I'm going to miss that guy. Here's a segment of his that I found that somehow never got played on the show.
Hi, I'm David Prague. You might know me from these ads. I'm here today to talk to you people about money. Money. I'd like some more. That's where you good people come in today. I would like you to give me your money for charity. What am I going to do with it? I don't know. I don't really have a big plan yet. I might pursue a dream. I might just give it to another charity. Hell, I might give it back to you. I probably would just use it to buy food. That would be nice for you people. It'd be like taking me out to dinner, but you don't actually have to see me. That's got to be great. The money I do have now, I keep in a mattress. So if you gave me some more, I'd make the mattress more comfortable, and that'd be cool. Anyway, thank you, and have a good day.
The podcast also gained a new segment contributor named Dave Nelson. He was just on a couple episodes ago and does the fake advice for new comic segments. He also hosts his own podcast called Comedy A Go-Go, which I was on earlier this month. I'll have a link to that in the show notes. Here's a quick message from Dave.
Hey, this is Dave Nelson from Comedy A Go-Go. Congratulations, Jason. You made it to the terrible twos with the We Don't Have Cookies.
One person I was hoping to do a monthly segment for the show goes by the name Mr. X, and he is the voice behind the Angry Old Man podcast. That show is hilarious, and if you haven't heard it before, you really need to check it out. Unfortunately, Mr. X is pretty busy these days, but he did send in this.
If I were to say to you, we don't have cookies,
Yeah?
what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is, do you have any macaroons?
Macaroons? No, that's not it.
That's not it?
Cookies, macaroons, what the hell are you talking
Yeah.
about? Just bear with me for a second. Edna,
Yes?
what's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say we don't have cookies?
Well, I would say don't look at me. Go buy your own fucking cookies. I don't have to buy everything every time I go to the store.
Yeah.
I forget things.
Edna, no one is accusing you of forgetting to buy cookies, okay?
Well, then what are you talking about?
Well, what I'm talking about is a podcast.
Podcast.
It's called We Don't Have Cookies.
Oh.
Well, then what the hell do they have if they don't have cookies?
Right, yeah. Do they have any graham crackers?
No cookies, no graham crackers, nothing.
Well, then what kind of a fucking podcast is that if they have no cookies?
No, it's an entertainment and comedy podcast. It's what it is. And it's called We Don't Have Cookies.
We don't have cookies.
That's right. And it's hosted by Jason Marshall. And who is he? He is an occasional comedian and a radio personality.
And they ain't got no cookies.
We don't have cookies.
Well, is it because maybe Jason is diabetic or something?
Well, how the hell would I know that?
Well, I don't know why the hell he wouldn't have any cookies. You know, everybody likes cookies.
That's just the name of the podcast. We don't have cookies, okay?
Fine. So what the hell does that have to do with us?
Exactly.
We don't have cookies.
What does that have to do with the Angry Old Man podcast, Robert?
Well, Jason Marshall is a fellow podcaster, and he listens to the Angry Old Man podcast.
Oh, that's nice.
A few months back, he got in touch with Mr. X and wanted to know if we could do a little segment on his podcast to cross-promote each other.
That is so sweet.
And he has a 2-year anniversary coming up next week.
Really?
And wanted the Angry Old Man podcast to take part in that celebration.
Well, that is so nice. And we are happy to take part in that celebration. But what are we going to do to partake
what are we going to do
in the said celebration?
Why don't we send him a bag of cookies?
Send him a bag of cookies. I thought the guy was diabetic.
But he's not diabetic. Who the hell said he was diabetic?
Robert said he was diabetic. That's why he didn't no cookies.
No, he didn't. He didn't say that he was diabetic, you dumbass.
You're a dumbass.
That's just the name of the podcast is We Don't Have Cookies.
Right.
He's not diabetic.
Robert, is he diabetic?
I don't know if he's diabetic.
You don't know.
No, I don't know.
Well, Robert, why don't we just do something that is cookie related?
Okay. Yeah, that's a great idea. Well, like what?
Yeah.
Well, I have a joke. You have a joke that is cookie related.
You have a joke.
Yes.
That is
I have a
cookie
joke.
related.
Cookie
and
related.
that will segue into Jason's 2-year anniversary of We Don't Have Cookies. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. A cookie related joke.
I can hardly wait.
Well, it's the best we have right now, so we might as well go with Curly's joke.
Right.
But we do want to say congratulations to Jason Marshall on his 2-year anniversary of We Don't Have Cookies, a podcast that comes out twice a week, and you can subscribe to it on iTunes, and I guess all the other major podcast directories.
Exactly. So, in honor of Jason's 2 years of podcasting, Curly, you have the microphone, and please proceed with your cookie-related joke.
Well, thank you so much. This guy had a tapeworm.
A guy had a tapeworm?
Yes, a guy had a tapeworm.
Yes. What, as a pet?
No, he didn't have a tapeworm as a pet.
Where the hell did he have this tapeworm?
Yeah, where was this tapeworm? It was up his ass.
It was up his ass?
That's right, a guy had a tapeworm up his ass.
Curly, how the hell does that relate to cookies and this the 2-year anniversary for poor Jason here?
Exactly.
Yeah, Curly, please. You know, we're trying to keep some sort of decorum here.
Right.
We want to wish him a very happy anniversary.
Right.
And now you have a guy with a tapeworm up his ass.
Well, yes, it's a joke, as I said. It deals with cookies, but it starts with a guy
with a tapeworm.
And a tapeworm up his ass. All right, let's hear the joke. All right, so this guy has a tapeworm up his ass, and, it's very, disconcerting to him. It's disconcerting to him. Well, yeah, it also hurts him a lot, you know. How would you like to have a big old tapeworm up your ass? I would not. So anyways, he wants the tapeworm out of his ass. And he goes to different doctors and everything, and no one seemed to have an answer for him how they're going to extricate this tapeworm out of his ass.
Oh, Curly.
What did he do?
Yes, what did he do to get this tapeworm out of his ass?
Well, he found this Chinese doctor.
A Chinese doctor?
Yes, a Chinese doctor.
Did it have anything to do with a dead Chinese donkey?
No, it has nothing to do with a dead Chinese donkey.
All right, then proceed.
Happy to
What
hear
did
that.
this Chinese doctor
Yes.
say he was going to do for this poor fellow
Right.
who had a tapeworm stuck up his ass?
Well, he said he was going to charge him about $10,000.
$10,000?
Yes, $10,000. But, this guy's been
Bit pricey.
going around trying to get this tapeworm out of his ass for a long time.
Yes.
And so he was willing to pay $10,000.
That's understandable.
And so he says to the Chinese doctor, "Are you sure you're going to be able to yank this tapeworm out of my ass?"
Yank him out.
And the Chinese doctor says, "Guaranteed,
Guaranteed.
or you don't have to pay me."
Guaranteed.
So he says,
That
"Okay,
is.
let's go."
What happened then?
And the doctor says, "Come into my, practice."
His practice.
Yeah, he had a little office in the back of a Chinese restaurant.
Where else would it be?
Okay. Yes, and so
Jeez.
he puts the guy up on the table. He said, "Lay down, on your side here and take your pants off." So he did.
Took his pants off.
And the Chinese doctor, he brought out a little basket with 3 pears and a cookie in it.
There's the cookie.
Yes, there is your cookie. So he brings out this basket with 3 pears and a cookie. And he tells the guy to look the other way. He does. Okay. And he proceeds to shove 3 pears and the cookie
Oh my God.
up the guy's ass.
He shoved 3 pears and a cookie up the guy's ass.
Yes. And the guy says, "Are you sure this is going to work, doctor?"
I would ask.
And the doctor says, "Of course. Otherwise, you don't have to pay me the $10,000.
Yes.
So
Okay.
in goes the first pear,
Yes.
the second pear, the third pear,
Yes.
and finally the cookie.
Did the worm then come out of the guy's ass?
No.
No?
The doctor says this is the first of 3 treatments.
The first of 3 treatments.
To come back?
That's correct. 2 more times.
Oh, poor
You
guy.
have to endure this.
Yeah. So he went back the next day?
Yes, he went back the next day. He got up on the table. The doctor brings out the basket with 3 pears and a cookie.
Yes.
He shoves the first pear up his ass, the second pear, the third pear, and finally the cookie.
Okay, and then what?
And the guy says, "Are you sure this is going to work, doctor?"
I would ask.
And the doctor says, "Of course, I guarantee it."
He guarantees it.
So off he goes and comes back the third day.
Oh, the poor guy.
And he's not thrilled, but he's happy that this will be the final treatment. So the doctor comes out. He's got his little basket with the 3 pears.
And what about the cookie?
Well, he didn't have the cookie in the basket, but instead he goes into a little drawer. He opens it up and pulls out a wooden mallet.
A wooden mallet?
That's correct, a wooden mallet.
Okay.
So the guy's up on the table. He's got his pants off, and he's spreading the cheeks. And before the doctor begins, he says, "Doctor, are you sure this is going to work?"
Yeah.
And the doctor says, "Absolutely, I guarantee it."
Guarantees
And
it.
he proceeds to shove the first pear up the guy's ass,
Yes.
then the second pear,
Oh, my God.
and then the third pear.
Yeah.
And then he waits.
He waits?
Yes, he waits. A few seconds later, the little tapeworm peeks out of the guy's asshole and says, "Hey, where's my cookie?" And the doctor, whap, he hits him with the mallet. And the tapeworm is done.
He guaranteed it.
And that's your story for Jason on his 2nd anniversary.
Yeah, it has a cookie in it. See?
It does have a cookie involved with it, but Jason, I'm so sorry, but buddy, this is the best we could do.
It's the best we can do.
On this short notice.
Right. Well, we hope that you have a very happy anniversary. Thank you
Yes.
for asking us to participate. I hope that you are not disappointed.
We hope so.
We would like to invite all of our friends here on the Angry Old Man podcast to check out We Don't Have Cookies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once again, happy anniversary, Jason Marshall. We wish you all the best in the future.
All the best, Jason.
We hope you finally get your cookies.
I loved that. I want to thank Mr. X again for sending that in, and I'll have a link to his podcast in the show notes. I did make one more addition to the show, And that's a little segment called BS Facts from Beej, the host of the BS Podcast and the owner of the BS Podcast Network in Australia. Here it is.
G'day, Beej here from the BS Pod. Did you know stepping on a sewing needle is more painful than hugging a pillow? Well, you're not hugging pillows right then. It's always when they hug you back, that's when you got to worry.
Mike Canistero has done so many segments for the show over the years. This year, he made some prank phone calls for me to use on the show. He plays a woman named Betty Sue and is working on one or two more characters. Here is one of his unaired prank phone calls.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello there.
Is Michael there?
No, I'm afraid he's out of town. This is Betty Sue, and I feed the plants and the cats and things. They left some things in the refrigerator that I think they're going to go back. If I eat them, they probably wouldn't mind. Do you think?
Oh, no problem. I'll call back some other time.
I think maybe about 3 to 4 weeks, depending on how they're serviced with the tribes are going.
Thank you.
But God bless
Have a
you.
wonderful day.
You too, sir. Bless your heart to heaven and back. Hello?
Eugene Merman also let me play some of his prank phone calls that he made on the show. There aren't many, so I try to save them, but I couldn't think of a better show to play one than today's episode. Here's Eugene Merman canceling his Dish Network service.
Dish Network. Better TV for all.
Please hold while your call is being transferred. To ensure quality, your call may be monitored.
Thank you for calling Dish Network. My name is Stacy. Can I have your name?
Eugene Merman?
I can help you tell Eugene.
I guess I'd like to get rid of HBO.
Okay. Let's see. Anytime you do remove programming, a one-time fee of $5 plus.
Wait, it's going to cost $5 to get rid of HBO?
Yes, sir.
Oh, no. Well, how will I get that? I guess I could do a car wash. Well, how much would it cost to get rid of Spike TV?
Spike TV. Well, that's automatically in a package. I have no way of removing that, sir. I do apologize.
How much would it cost to get rid of basic service?
Well,
I wanted nothing but HBO. How much would that cost?
$18.99 a month.
To have HBO?
Uh-huh.
And nothing else?
That's it.
How much would it cost for me to just get rid of Dish Network?
Nothing.
I could do it for free?
Yeah.
So $5 to get rid of HBO, $18 to keep HBO but get rid of everything else.
Exactly.
And then for free to get rid of everything.
Right.
Okay. I guess I'll get rid of everything then if that's the cheapest.
All right. Well, let me get you to the cancellation department, sir. Please hold the line.
Thanks.
Who am I speaking with today?
This is Eugene Merman.
Now, I'm showing that you've had the service for 3 years and 2 months now.
Yes.
Can I ask why it is that you want to cancel the service?
Whenever I've wanted to make channel changes, you guys have charged me.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Just hurt my feelings, I guess.
Okay, so the main issue is because of the transaction fee that you charged?
I mean, it's just weird when a company doesn't love a customer.
Okay.
You know? But it was a lot of just like kind of sitting up and being like, Dish, I don't think you care. And it was, 3.5 years. I mean, could you imagine being in a dead-end 3.5-year relationship? Just like weird.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
Well, no, I'm just listening to what you're stating on as far as regarding that. Yeah, and I understand, but unfortunately, that's just something. Anytime that a customer upgrades programming, there's no fee to make that change.
I know. Isn't that convenient for you guys?
Yeah, well, the reason
customer
is
feels
because
abused.
there's also a fee that the provider charges us to switch as well. There is a fee associated to that, which...
So you're saying it's sort of an abusive relationship where they kind of hit you and then you hit the customer?
Well, I understand your opinion on that, sir.
It's not an opinion. It's psychology. That's, I'm just saying, like, that's how violence perpetuates itself.
Well, and that's something that through Dish Network, we always charge a fee for that.
You charge a fee for perpetuating violence?
Well, let me go ahead and get this taken care of for you, okay? Is it a
Sure.
cancellation hold for one moment?
Sure, no problem.
When did you want me to have this canceled by?
I guess as soon as possible, really, because I've gotten a different service. I found someone else.
Okay.
And they're pretty big in my life.
And as far as this, you wouldn't consider downgrading your package at this time, at least to maintain the basic top 60 with locals, which will run you at $31.99 a month?
I don't know. I don't know. If I already have another service, would it make sense to have it twice? I don't know. No, I guess not.
No, just as an option in case if in the future we do decide to switch back to Dish Network, we also have this just as an option where we can place your account on hold for up to 6 months, and it's only a $5 monthly fee. Would you be interested in trying that for a few months?
That seems so weird. Why? What would be the advantage of that?
Well, it's just you avoid paying a restart fee when you reactivate your programming.
Why would I pay a restart fee?
That's a fee. Anytime that the account is closed, when a customer reinstates the account, there's a $25 restart fee.
I mean, I would probably use an assumed name and change my identity then. Wouldn't that just make the most sense than a worse deal?
It's a $25 restart fee. Right.
Yeah, I know, but $5 fee for 6 months is more money than $25 restart fee. You don't think that's funny? Anyway, I guess the answer is no, but I love all your weird little ways of getting money. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here, so I'm processing the request for you. I just went ahead and canceled out the service for you.
Thank you.
As far as this, you'll have no ending balance owed to Dish Network.
Great.
And in case we do decide to reinstate in the future, there is a $25 restart fee, okay?
Sure. Do you guys owe me money?
Let me bring up that statement on here. Okay, I do show there will be an amount of $13.52, so I'll submit that as a refund.
And do you guys want your stuff back or anything?
Looking at the account, that equipment actually belongs to you.
That equipment belongs to me. I can do anything I want? And you won't call and be like, I want my stuff back.
No, sir. Yeah, as far as with the promotion that you had signed up for, that is your equipment.
You think of it as a promotion, huh?
Well, when you signed up, you had paid originally an activation fee of $49.99, which entailed to having the equipment installed after there was a 1-year agreement at that time.
Not a relationship, but like a promotion.
Thank you for calling.
Miss you. Bye.
I've also gotten some voicemails from people. Here's a great example of how to get your voicemails played on the show.
Yes, this is Mike Ookie with Men's Rogue Deluxe Baked Goods of America. We're a distant cousin of the Girl Scouts Cookies of America, possibly adopted, not important. I hear you need cookies. I happen to have what you need. Hey, it's Mike Ookies again, with the militant wing of Keyboarder. Different company, more aggressive sales tactic and delivery. Now, new company means new and exciting cookies. Good morning, Mike Ookies here, now with Herbert and Handsome and Sexy Cookies. I had to switch companies. Less aggressive marketing strategy. However, they're not any more attractive, Sexy and Handsome. Their founder names are just Herbert Sexy and John Handsome. Now, for a new ordering system, I've spoken with the city, and there is an abundance of stray dogs. So decide what cookies you would like, go outside, and just tell a random dog. He'll know what to do from there.
I would love to get more voicemails like that. Please start sending those in. The phone number is 929-266-9342. You can find that in the show notes, and I have it on the contact page at wedon'thavecookies.com. Here is an example how not to get your voicemail played on the show.
Thanks for calling. We don't have cookies. Just kidding.
One of the coolest things that has happened in the past year was booking the stand-up shows. There have been 3 so far, and I'm still working on getting the audio perfected to air them on the podcast, but man, it's been a lot of fun. The host of the stand-up shows is Amanda Sue Fuck Punch, who is a hilarious drag queen that has won a lot of awards for being a drag queen and for comedy. I'm hoping to have Amanda Sue on in August. There's going to be another stand-up show coming in August or September. I'm waiting to hear back from the venue on a specific date, but as soon as I do, I'll bring it up on the show. If you live in the area, I'd love to see you there. Another really cool thing that happened was being asked to be on a podcast panel at the Gem City Comic-Con. I want to thank Izzy Rock for asking me to be a part of it. I had such a great time, and it was really cool to be asked to do another one immediately after it was over in another conference room by Amanda Gillum, so I want to thank her too. The second podcast panel that I did was really memorable, mainly because I got to know one of the people who was in the audience that day. His name is Sam Deely, and he's a very talented cartoonist. Sam did the new podcast cover art for the show. Here's a quick interview that I did with Sam for this episode. Hey, Sam, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's the 2-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Now, we've been working on this for, it's been a little while now, but I put it off just so we could announce it on this episode. One of those things is the new cover art for the show, which I really appreciate. It looks great. And
you're welcome.
Another thing is once a week, we're going to have a cartoon on Facebook based on something that happened on the podcast, courtesy of you, which I think is pretty badass.
Yeah, that should be awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man. I don't want to talk to you too much because you're going to be on in an episode in August, but I couldn't do the anniversary show and announce all these things and not have you on. In the meantime, if people want to get to know more about you, where can they go?
So I've been publishing a webcomic with all my comedy since 2006 over at woohooligan.com. And I realize it's a little confusing to some people. The word woohoo, WOOHOO, and it's a portmanteau with the word hooligan. So WOOHOOLIGAN.com. If you type that into, you should be able to find it on Google if you type that in, but the first result is going to be a guy who reviews sneakers for the Filipino shoe market. I'm the guy after that with the funny jokes.
So go to the second one first, but yeah. I would encourage everybody to go to the first one too.
Check out all the Filipino shoes.
I kind of want to check that out now.
Yeah.
You sold me.
He's got a remarkably large following over there, actually. I wouldn't have thought.
Well, I want to thank you for being on the show. I'm looking forward to talking to you in August, man.
Yeah, it's great.
I want to thank Sam again for all he's done, and I'm really looking forward to the Facebook cartoons. I also want to thank Mark DeGrossa from Folio Design House for the previous cover art. The first year of the show, we had a few lost episodes come out. This year, we've had quite a few accidental episodes that come out. 4, to be exact. 1 with Izzy Rock, another with Mama Kate, 1 with Benny Mac, and possibly the funniest episode that I've ever done with Kenny Bolin. So I guess we're headed in the right direction. Speaking of Kenny Bolin, he was on the show almost more than anybody last year. Mama Kate holds the record with 19 appearances, but him and Mike Canistero are tied at 7. I have recorded so much stuff with Kenny that I haven't released. I could put out probably 2 entire episodes of just him. Here is an unreleased clip of him and Maya talking to me about the skunk I found in my yard. If you don't already know the story, I saw a baby skunk in my backyard and spent about a half an hour hanging out with the little guy. I even made videos of him walking around with me and sniffing my shoes. Here's the clip.
Check my funds. He's got 99 fucking acres of property.
Hopefully I'll be good enough tonight, then we can convince him to invest in us.
He's got 99 goddamn acres of property, a new house, and a fucking pet skunk, and he won't invest into a goddamn microphone.
A pet skunk.
How's your skunk doing? Have you seen your skunk lately?
It got killed the very next day.
What? You can't tell us that?
Yeah.
You gotta lie. What do you mean you got killed? You went hunting, didn't you?
No, I was really sad about that.
Well, I'm kind of sad too. Terrible. Well, how did it happen? He done told us this much.
See, you done told us. I told you you talk like that. Sorry, Jason. Go ahead.
Shut up, bitch.
I just happened to find him next to the picnic table, and he looked fine. So I'm assuming it was probably a cat. Because anything else would have dragged him away or tore him up more. Cats just killed a kill.
I hope he sprayed that cat to death before he went.
Me too, because it's probably the one that just finished tearing up my screen door. I hate that thing.
Sylvester make his way all the way to Ohio because it sounds like it.
Sylvester went up there, killed a skunk, and fucked up.
Kenny
Jason
had a
Screens.
badass cat named Sylvester. He ran away one day. He had terrible thyroid issues. He lost like 10 pounds. He weighed nothing, and he would just bitch and eat all day. And one day he ran away, and we still think that he's out there hunting somewhere. He's not dead.
Yeah,
he was 17.
He's 17 or 18 when he ran away. He was near 18. He's almost to his 18th birthday. And we're still not convinced he's dead. We think he's out there somewhere. Probably killed your skunk.
He beat up 4 pit bulls that went after him. He beat them all up.
The 4 pit bulls cornered his ass. Well, they didn't corner him. They got him into the yard. He was in the yard over at my old complex.
Mm-hmm.
And these 4 pits are bowing up on him like, cat, we're going to fuck you up. And Vetters wouldn't run. He would never run from a dog. And he just anchored in, got his goddamn claws out. Those 4 dogs went after him. Next thing I know, 4 dogs went home crying. Christopher tells me, he says, Dad, I saw Vetters outside today fucking with that German Shepherd. The next door neighbor had this great big ass fucking 140-pound German Shepherd that just loved to run and play with Misty and Jackson and just intimidated everybody that come near that fence. He liked us, but if he didn't know you, he'd fuck with you. So, Dad, I saw Vetters out there fucking with that German Shepherd. Dad, I said, why is that? He was laying there by the fence, and that German Shepherd just bark at him and bark at him and bark at him. And then when he'd quit barking, Vetters would lean through the fence and slap the shit out of him. I said, oh, get out of here. He wasn't doing that. You're making that shit up. So I want you to know I'm sitting out on the fucking deck about 3-4 days later. There's that dog just barking at Vetters, and he's just sitting there right at the edge of the fence like, bark away, bitch, bark away. And he barked, and the next thing I know, Vetters leans through that fence and just slaps the shit out of him. Just to get him barking again, and then he'd sit there and just watch him bark like, you ain't shit you can do, motherfucker. Keep barking. And he just go there and fuck with that German Shepherd. Jesus. If that German Shepherd could have ever got through that fence, he would have died. But now Vetters would not run from a dog. It was not in his blood. And when those 4 pits got him cornered, I'm going, oh shit, this is going to get end ugly. It did. It ended ugly for the pits. We'll tell that
was incredible.
We'll tell that one on a show. Well, Jason's recording it. He'll just add this to a show.
Vetters had this habit where he would load the paw. He would, before he slapped someone, he would put his paw in water. He would choke it real well and then slap the fuck out of him.
This was probably the thing that Chris was proudest of most was the loaded paw.
Yep.
Because with Misty and Jackson, of course, they were always trying to fuck with him. Day one, it was out of a fucking comedy show. Here comes the day one that Vetters has moved in. Christopher's school teacher gave him to him, and I lived over in Fern Creek. And here goes Vetters running through the house, and he's trying to get away from Misty and Jackson. And he runs back to the bedroom all the way down the hallway, and he's cornered. Here goes Jackson. Here goes Misty. They've got that cat cornered, and they're going to fuck that cat up. Next thing I know, here come 2 Labradors yelping their ass off, running to me. And there come Vetters walking through like, fuck with me again, dogs. And they never, ever did. So, but occasionally, Vetters would fuck with the dogs just to get something going out of them. So I remember there was one time that he wouldn't fuck with Misty. Misty apparently had his number. But he'd fuck with Jackson all the time. So they're going through the deck. And I had a table out there that all my computer shit's on now. I've had this table 100 years, I think. Vetters would sit on that table, and Misty would walk out, and Misty had a free pass. Misty could go anywhere she wanted. Jackson would walk out, and he would lean over that table with his paw, because he's always leaning with his paws hanging off the edge anyway. Mm-hmm. When Jackson would go by, he'd lean down, just slap the shit out of Jackson every time he'd go by. Jackson would look up like, you fucking cat. He wouldn't do shit about it, though. So he would go out in the yard, do his business, and then they'd come back, and here goes Misty, and Misty got the free pass. Never thought of hitting her. Jackson would go by, and he'd ring down, just slap the shit out of Jackson every fucking chance he got. And it was always Jackson. And one time, Misty apparently got Vetters cornered and would not let him out. Misty thought that I was mad at Sylvester. And he did something, and I pitched him across the living room, and he landed on his feet in the corner. Well, Misty thought that was a sign. Well, that cat's fucked up. I got to finish him off. So Misty cornered Vetters and was fucking him up. Vetters never forgot that. He never fucked with Misty again after that. And but no, what Chris was talking about, or Maya was telling you earlier, is that if Vetters really wanted to fuck with you, he would lay by the water bowl. Mm-hmm. And he always had to drink out of the dog's water. He would not drink out of his own. And if he had the dog's water, he didn't like where the dog's water was. And that little motherfucker could drag a full bottle of water, a bowl of water, across the kitchen floor, and he would try to drag it to the laundry room where he normally had his water. And he'd spill water all over the fucking place, and he didn't give a shit. And he would drag the fucking water in there, and then if the dogs come to fuck with him, he would dip his paw in the water and then slap the shit out of them. And Chris called it, he's loading the paw. He's getting that thick, heavy water on his paw. And just to add humiliation to what he'd already done to you. Oh, you got a wet face too, dog. Now go dry it fucking piss off your face. And
yeah, the water bowl got so bad that eventually, in order to give the dogs and the cat water, we used to fill up a big 6-quart stainless steel pot because it was so hard to move.
That had a flat bottom that the cat, and he got mad. He got so goddamn mad he couldn't move that bowl.
He would sit in front of the bowl and just bitch for hours.
And then he would try. Because the aluminum bowl that had the rounded bottom, you know how a mixing bowl is?
Mm-hmm.
Well, as a matter of fact, that's what it was. It was a mixing bowl. Well, he could drag that bowl all over the house. You wouldn't think a cat would bother to do that, but he did. But now when we put the 6-quart Dutch oven down there that weighed fucking 30 pounds, he couldn't move that.
It was like a slow cooker. It was fucking giant.
Yeah, he couldn't fuck with that.
He could have bathed in it. Enough stories about pussy.
As you've already heard, I asked Maya to be the voice of the show. She does the intros, the contact info, all that stuff now. Since there's so many downloads in other countries, I couldn't think of a better person to do the intros than somebody who speaks 5 languages. And I will occasionally throw in an intro by her in another language, just as a nod to all our international listeners. I'm going to talk to her some more on a show in September, but here's a quick conversation between us about her inclusion in the podcast. I tried to talk to just her, but Kenny was in the room and crashed the recording. Well, joining me right now is the new person who does the intros for the show, all the little voiceovers that we do. It's my friend Maya. How you doing?
Hey, Jason, I'm good. How are you?
Oh, whoa, when the fuck this happened?
Jason's my friend.
Well, I know he's your friend, but what's he talking about? Doing all the introductions for shows and...
Well, it was an honor. He asked me. He said he liked my voice. He said he liked my company.
What's wrong with my voice?
Well...
Not very appealing, you know, it's
not very appealing. Women all over the goddamn world love my voice. Even some men. A lot of men. Wait, are y'all ribbing me, really?
No, I'm serious, yeah.
When did you do this?
Guess what? A week ago, maybe?
That night when you was out here tying up my fucking computer, my brand spanking new computer brought to me by the good folks at Mulligan's Meat.
Yeah, well, it was hard work.
Well, you sat down here chuckling and laughing the whole fucking time. I thought y'all was just clowning and bullshitting.
No.
You're not that funny. I'm the funny one. Are you shitting me? No, wait a minute. Let me make sure I got this straight. You had Maya introduce you on your show instead of me.
Yeah.
And you give me 5 good reasons why.
She only wanted $300.
I wouldn't work that cheap.
There you go. I'm
exactly.
All right, give me 4 more reasons.
Well, she's nicer to me.
All right, you got me there.
That is a low bar.
It works like a cheap whore, and she's nicer to you. Give me 3 more reasons.
She has a wonderful smile.
I do. It really helps on an audio show.
This is not a show, cocksucker. That ain't right. All right.
See,
well, I'm not going to. You don't call it. Well, that falls under being nicer to you.
See, I've always
that's like the 10 Commandments.
Cocksucker's a little bit too much.
That's like the 10 Commandments. You can loop them all into like one commandment, so that falls under being nicer to him. You can't. The cocksucker.
The one famous commandment: don't fuck around.
Cocksucker thing can't be factored in. All right. Well, now we're down to 2 more reasons why you picked her over me.
She's never come on a show uninvited, which is what has happened right now.
Well, 2 of the last 3 podcasts I did were uninvited. That was Jerry Lawler claims I wasn't invited. I was told I was. Brian Last recently claims he uninvited us, even though he fired us 42 minutes after we quit. That was a record. All right, so she's never stormed your show before. She just is an invited guest, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and
now the last reason that you chose her over me to introduce you on your show.
She's more talented.
Oh my God, I'm getting stabbed tonight. I can't believe you said that. Please record this, please. I'm going to need this record. If they call you tomorrow morning for evidence, you show them.
I have never been so hurt. I am going to take off my Beats by Bolin Monster Intune headphones, and I'm not going to do your show.
Kenny, I did say good day.
That's now Jimmy Cornette's show I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do my own bowling alley. I'm considering not doing Dinner with Bolin now. The Dinner with the Bolins. I'm considering not even doing it.
Come on, Kenny.
But they're paying me $1,000 a show, so I guess I'll continue to do it.
Which, by the way, was my idea 4 years ago.
Whose fucking idea? Now you're going to take credit for that.
It's because you're not
something
talented.
that I happen to remember that you said 4 years ago, and now you want to take credit for it. You know what? You
know how much more money you would have today if you listened to me 4 years ago.
Well, maybe enough that I could buy you a webcam.
Get the hell out of here.
Wow.
I'm out of here. I know when I'm not wanted.
Damn, I didn't think you could get
I'll
any
leave.
more
I'll
petty.
leave. I'll leave. I really will.
You're kidding me. Come on.
Get out of my way,
It's
2Cal.
going to take about 30
You
minutes for him to
big
get up.
Fucking black lab.
Yeah, he is now up. 1 foot's on the ground. Did you get that in? He just screamed, "Bite me." That was awesome.
I know this is an audio podcast, but 2Cal just jumped in Kenny's seat and took the mic.
He's not coming. He's too petty to come. Did you? As soon as you stepped down, he sat down and he even bumped your microphone. He took over.
Save the show.
Slammed the door right in Choco's face.
2Cal took over for Kenny and made you a fan. I know this is an audio show, but it was really funny. As soon as Kenny left, 2Cal jumps in his seat, takes over the microphone, and was fanning Maya's face all at the same time. He's a very talented dog.
He's been on the show several times. He does this trick where we ask him to say please for his treats, and he growls real gently, right in the microphone, and he does it perfectly every single time. He's a very talented dog, of course. There had to be one talented person in his family.
Regular listeners are probably going to recognize Maya. She was on the accidental episode that I recorded with Kenny, which has been happening a lot. I think that was the 3rd accidental episode this year. It's kind of nice. I don't even need to try to do a podcast. I just accidentally make them. It makes my job easier.
He does all the work for you. You don't have to schedule nothing. You just have to wake up in the middle of the night when he feels like talking.
I did one with Benny Mac. See, that one was about an hour that I put out a week or so ago. Then there was one with Mama Kate. I think that was a half hour. That was a couple of months ago. And then with you and Kenny, about a month ago. And that was one of the best episodes that we've done in a very long time. I love that one.
Honestly, even Kenny said that it was one of the best episodes he's ever done. It was just a part of the material being good. He enjoyed the heck out of himself. That's awesome. That's the best part of podcasting to him. He is retired, and all he wants to do is entertain himself.
And that makes my job easier when I have to go through and edit. When I listen to a show and I'm laughing and smiling while I'm doing it, it makes everything so much smoother.
Yeah, it's a perfect job. It's really the best job in the world.
Oh, yeah. But so people can get to know you. You were born in Brazil, right?
Yes, I was.
And
Yeah.
how long did you live there?
Oh, I only lived there for like 4 years because I was born in 96. My mom got a scholarship to go to school in Germany when I was 4. So I barely remember Brazil, to be honest.
You lived in Germany for a long time, though, right?
I did, yes. I grew up there, honestly. I lived there from the age of 4 until 18. Pretty long time. It was depressing. I have to add, I lived in Eastern Germany. As much as I'd like to say that it's not any different, because, the wall was torn down when 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It still is different. There's still differences. And even a lot of Western Germans don't know that how Eastern Germany looks now. And they kind of have the impression that we still don't have cars. We still don't have infrastructure, which that's a lie. There's not a visual difference, but the mentality is a little different. And that just didn't really fit in when I lived there.
One of the reasons that I wanted to have you do the intros is we got along so well. Every time that we have talked for at least 2 hours, which is crazy. I don't think I've talked to anybody that long that I've known for such a short period of time.
I don't know. You just got me all rolled up in your stories, and your life has been so different than mine that I can't help but listen. I meet other people, and they might have cool stories, but I have a similar story. You see things in your environment so entirely different than me. I can't help but listen for 2 hours.
Well, I appreciate that. And I want to thank you for doing the voiceovers for the show, man. It was a really good time. I hope everybody else enjoys them. We did a lot of takes. So just because you heard the one today doesn't mean that you're going to recognize all the other ones that we do from now on. And one thing that I really, really appreciate is you doing the contact bumper for the show. So now I don't have to say the damn phone number every show. That's finally over, starting today.
I'm glad I could help. It was a lot of fun to record. I had a lot of fun. This kind of happened out of the blue. I called you with Kenny one night. We recorded an accidental show. For 20 minutes of the show, I didn't know who you were. And then out of the blue, I think I called you Jason. I called you Adam. And Kenny was like, "Who's Adam?" And I was like, "I don't know who's this guy." And he said, "He's that guy who wants to have us over for barbecue." And I suddenly realized who you were. But those 20 minutes before I even knew who you were, we were talking like we had been best buddies for 20 years.
Yeah, it was really nice. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we had a good time.
All right. Well, thanks for being on. As you could hear, Kenny got mad and stormed off. Could that be the last time that we hear Kenny on the show? I doubt it. The podcast has been downloaded in over 100 countries so far, every single region in the UK, but it has only been downloaded in 49 states in the US. So if anybody knows somebody in Vermont, please ask them to check out the show, because that's the only state in the country that hasn't given the podcast a try. Also, tell as many people about the podcast as you can. The only way the show can grow is if you spread the word, and this episode would be a great starting point to get people into the show. I have to talk about the biggest change to the podcast this year, and that is finally moving into my house. I have talked about that ever since the beginning of this podcast. If this wasn't my childhood home, I would have never attempted to fix this place up. It would have been cheaper to just have a new house built. I had to replace all of the plumbing, all of the electric, got every single room down to the studs, including the attic and stairway, get a new roof, all new windows. I even had to level most of the studs and the rafters just so I could put the drywall up, replace the floorboards, and a million other things I never expected. It was an insane amount of work that needed to be done. I paid and had help from a lot of different people who in hindsight didn't know what the hell they were doing, but between being persistent and finding a great contractor named Greg, I finally got it done. It makes the shows much easier to do now. Before, I had to gather up all my equipment, bring it here, set it up to do a show. I didn't want to do it at the place that I was living because it was so small and I didn't want to have to worry about my wife and kids being there. So now everything is in one place, ready to go, and I have internet access. On the old shows, I would have to bring notes and screenshots on my phone because I couldn't get a signal in this house. And that was a pain in the ass. But the studio looks great. I have a great desk thanks to my friend Keith from the Sea of Madness podcast, a TV for Skype guests and videos so if I have another guest in-house, they can see everything that's going on, and a battery backup surge protector so I won't lose any parts of the show if the power goes out. There's more stuff I'd like to do for the show, but I can only spend so much money without my wife getting pissed. So if you would like to help, please go to WeDon'tHaveCookies.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, click that donate button. Doesn't matter how much you give, it all helps, and I would really appreciate it. This was just the beginning of the months of Jason. In July, I talked to all the people who were instrumental in the podcast in the last 2 years. So in August, I will be talking to some of the new additions to the show, as well as some of your favorite guests to kick the third year off right. September 30th is International Podcast Day. So in honor of that, all the guests in September will be from other countries. October is going to be Crossover October, where I will have people on who have their own podcasts, and I will be a guest on their podcast as well. So if you listen to both shows, you get twice as much me that month. November, I will be wrapping up the months of Jason by having on all the people I'm thankful to have as a part of the show, and a few new guests as well. I want to thank all my guests from the past year: Choo Choo Stew, Benny Mac, Kenny Bolin, Jessica Grau, Mission Man, Mama Kate, Tracy Rowland, Mike Canistero, Stuart Rice, Matt Barnard, Izzy Rock, Ash Ark, Dwayne Melman, Hunter Hobbs, Gary Henry, Mayara Safawoholtz, Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Mike Morris, Dave Prague, Dwight McCormick, and Dave Nelson. My favorite thing to do to end the show is take a small clip out of context and put it after the outro music. Here's a montage of all of this year's outro clips.
We all come.
What kind of cheap thrill are you getting out of this? God, I would have loved to have been in that room with the three of you guys. He's a farmer. He backed that grain truck right on up. Yeah.
If you got listeners that don't know who I am, fuck you.
It got kind of weird there at the end there.
When I was a baby, I was very, very young.
I wanted to build my cat its own room.
Well, we ain't gonna get to your risers today.
Well, fuck you.
Before I introduce him, I'm sorry. Yeah, being an audio show, audio quality is kind of important.
Why do birds? I'm just going to sing while you're getting your shit together. Suddenly appear. Do I really think people are that fascinated by the picture of your fucking dinner? Nobody cares.
You got 30 minutes in you?
Perpendicular.
I don't understand.
Why? Science that shit up.
I just might be dead.
Strangely exotic.
But I'd rather just pick up a tennis ball than use a breast pump.
I'm kind of out of it. 1,056 bicycle miles away.
Dumbasses.
If they're not inviting the grope, then there's no groping. I want to make that very clear right now.
The first time I think I've admitted that to anyone.
You know I don't know who people
I
are.
know you don't, and I think it's hilarious.
The poutine is delicious.
I did shut my head in my car door once.
I thought we were recording. Balls.
Good job, Jason. Way to be completely contradictory.
I'm probably not putting an exercise band on my dick.
Bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing.
What is going on? It'll probably be better without him. And by the way, March is Mama Kate Awareness Month. So everybody knows.
I could. I don't know if I'm really good at it.
Is this a question to me?
We don't have scabies.
I should probably shut up. I'd like to get a hold of a groundhog.
Everybody's going to say stay crunchy now. It's going to be the new hip goodbye.
Stay crunchy.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet Daddy J.
How you can be surprised after people start. What is going on with this show?
Father Time, you bring whatever you got to bring and I'll be ready.
I do it, but I don't like it.
You know, actually,
Playing a little cookie cast.
I didn't smell or anything.
Jack off. Jack off. Jack off.
It's cool in Ohio.
Well, that's just fantastic. What the fuck can I do for you?
Yeah, hey, you guys.
I'm trying to trailer park his place out as much as I can.
We like his rage.
That image has scarred me for life, what I saw that day.
Let's just share this broadcast out over on Twitter. Splash your ass or something.
That's it for this episode. I want to thank all of you for downloading the show and making the second year so much fun. I have a lot going on this week, so there probably won't be a Thursday show, but who knows? It's We Don't Have Cookies, where possibilities are possible. I'm going to end the show with a song by Mike O'Connell featuring Dr. Ken called What's It Gonna Be? Have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.
So unless you want a shot of this generic gin that I've been drinking in the corner since I don't know when, then I won't be much use to you. But look, I think your ass looks delicious. I got to get my dick in your britches. He will. Your body gonna make me religious. Hey, you know I wanna sexy with you, but look, now I got a lot of bitches to plow, so you can fuck me later, but you should fuck me now. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Whole night now. Okay. I see that guy you're with, and I know he's hot, and I know he's rich, but he's got nothing on me when it comes to fucking. Ha! Now, if you even really cared about that vagina of yours, you wouldn't leave it in the hands of an amateur. You put it on my dick and you sit real good. You know that's where you wanna be. Look, now, I got a lot of bitches to plow, so you can fuck me later, but you should fuck me now. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Ha! I ain't got all night now. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Ha! I ain't got all night now. Listen, What's it gonna be? Ha! I ain't got all night now.
How what's it gonna be?
What's it gonna be? $1 million strong. I ain't got all night now.